Board now. Hey, we've got Joe Timberlake of Timberlake Realty RVA here in Richmond, Virginia with us. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you agreeing to come on and talk about your business and your background. Um,
My
so can you
pleasure, Justin. Thank you for having me.
absolutely first, can you share a bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture at Timberlake Realty?
Ooh, currently my role as owner, principal broker. I thought we would start near the beginning, but we can start currently.
Well,
Uh,
you can tell us about your history, how you got started in real
yeah,
estate. How about that?
that may be a little bit more linear. I can follow and try to keep it in line there. So I have always been into real estate. I took a couple real estate courses at VCU while being a advertising major. My grandfather, who I never got to meet, and this is no like nepotism or anything like that, but he had a Timberlake Realty down in Bald Head Island, which is funny because we've got a couple bald heads here on the call and sold a lot down there in the 70s when or 60s and 70s when that island was kind of getting developed. So that was just a little part of his career. He had a little shop. I think I've still got some letterhead with that on it. Um, that really had little to do with me getting into it, but it still was, I guess, in the family. I've had
Yeah,
an aunt and a cousin who are also brokers in North Carolina, but I've
it's in your
always had
heritage.
what's that?
It's in your heritage.
Apparently, a little bit, a little bit. So, I've always had a love for architecture, design, engineering, and pretty much all things homes, because, everybody's got to live somewhere. I love serving other people and helping them through some of the most challenging decisions in their lives. And I get to wear many hats as far as being an advisor, kind of a financial consultant, the therapist, oftentimes, depending on, the family dynamics and all of that. And just a trusted advisor through the treacherous waters that can be in real estate. And so then, yeah, I was in advertising sales for a bit. Um, didn't really, I did that for about 3 or 4 years. Didn't quite mesh with that lifestyle, I guess you could say. Really wanted
Sure.
to be just kind of out and about, and I don't like being in too many places for too long. So this gave me the opportunity for a little bit more freedom to for every day is different, and get to meet all sorts of folks from all over the world, really, that have been coming into the Richmond market, especially over the past 5 to 10 years, as Richmond has really made a name for itself. Um, since then. And yeah, I got licensed finally in 2012 through Long and Foster, which was a great course and classwork setup to kind of get me going. Kind of started on my own. I didn't join a team or anything at the beginning, which looking back, that would have been helpful. I was kind of thrown to the wolves and had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own. I shortly thereafter did get a mentor or two to help me get my feet wet and learn kind of what I was doing, learn the ropes, get my traction a little bit. And as many agents do, it jumped around to a few different brokerages after that. Um, and then started, yeah, really, really getting into it. And and working with first time buyers from out of town buyers, a few, well, actually a couple big investors that were based in Northern Virginia, DC area
And how
that
do
were
they find you? Just off the internet or
at the time, yeah, with the
word of
brokerage
mouth?
I was at the time, yeah, they I think had registered on our site, and I had just done some warm calling, not quite cold calling, but followed up with some folks that had registered them, built some good rapport with them, and yeah.
So you got like a lot of back and forth phone calls, getting to know the people when they're looking for a house coming into town or looking at moving into Richmond. And
Yeah,
so,
starting out, that's how it was, and that's a big reason I joined I was with Exit First Realty under the Brian Hall Holmes team. Kind of was where I got going a little bit more so than when I was at Long and Foster as a lone wolf, and I would make a lot of the cold calls and build some of these early relationships from scratch essentially. And yeah, got synced up with some investors that were doing a lot of flips and renovations, especially
that
in
was
like the
exciting.
Brooklyn Park, Highland Park area when that was really starting to take off. And probably sold 20, 30 homes for them over the course of probably a 5 year period, while continuing to build my network and database through that time. Um, and that brokerage or that team rather split off into the RVA Group Realty, which is still in existence over in Scott's Addition, and was with them for many years. And let's see, I think I jumped around one more time, right around 2020, and we can remember what all was starting to go on around that time. Uh,
Yeah.
Getting a little hectic. So made the jump to a friend's brokerage that was a little closer to where I was, and I really resonated with their kind of mission statement and really admired their broker too. And I kind of was feeling stagnant in my career at that point, and just needed some good fire lit up under me and some
Yeah.
encouragement, motivation, and uh, shout out to Alexis Thompson and Joe Caffarella for really lighting that pilot light that I needed at that time. And
Cool was that?
was really feeling bullish about the whole thing again. But then, closures started happening again, and we weren't meeting in person anymore. And, the whole kind of team communal aspect was fizzling out a bit. And I was only with them for probably 6 months or so, maybe a little bit more. Did a bunch of deals while I was there in a short time, but just kind of had the thought like, man, if this is, I'd always wanted to start my own firm at some point. I definitely didn't plan on doing it that early, but just given the circumstances,
The stars aligned.
it was just kind of like, man, this seems like it would be a pretty good time to do it. So I reached out to another agent, a friend of mine, who we'd been working with for probably 6, 7 years at that point.
Okay.
And she was, I think, one of the one and only that wanted to take the leap with me, and so that I, wouldn't go at it myself, because I don't think I would have if it was
Yeah.
just me at that time. Um, Shout out to Maureen Patterson, who did property management with me for a long while and is still an agent
So
under.
you got involved in property management as well, Joe?
She did.
Okay.
I didn't like to touch it much,
Okay.
but
Okay.
obviously was still the where the buck stopped if anything went wrong.
Sure.
But things were kept contained, and yes, she managed for about 15 properties or so.
Okay.
Um, for me, when Timberlake Realty was born, uh, got, the logo and the
Yeah,
website and the branding and the signs made and all of that. And
sure.
well, and before that, in 2016 got my broker's
I
license.
remember that.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
probably a
when
little
was it?
before.
When, yeah, you were my agent when I bought the house that I'm living in now. So
Yep.
when was that? I don't even remember. It was
I was
so
probably
long ago.
I was at the RVA group then. I think that
Okay.
was 2018, roughly, right?
Yeah, time flies. I can't believe it's been that long, but
I
yeah,
know,
I
man.
mean, we've known
It
each other
is.
longer than
I,
it's like been more than
we've
10
known
years at
each other
least.
10 years. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
that's
think
amazing. So
I
tell me what it's like at Timberlake Realty on a dated, like an average day. What does your
ooh,
routine look like as far as like, client reaching out, where you're getting your clients from, how,
yeah, that's well, ever since, boy, it's been Hmm. Well, got our license as the firm license in January of 21.
okay,
I'd say several years before that was when I was really just building on my sphere of influence and my past clients and just referral based. We strive to be completely referral based. Honestly, it's not that I wouldn't help someone that just, called me from a for sale sign or something or found me some other way. But I really, I mean, it's that comes with some pros and cons. It's great because everyone is kind of within the family and maybe just one degree of separation
sure.
from past folks, so
So
they
they're
tend
not
to
just
be.
tire kickers, they're qualified
Oh,
buyers that are
there's
actually in the
that.
market.
Yeah. And then they've heard good things about working with me. And so we already kind of get into the relationship
Sure.
in a very good place. And, a lot of trust is already there. And I can continue to build that with them. So, yeah, I would say 95% of my business now and for the past 5+ years is solely referral based, which is nice, except for some of the times when things start to slow down and drop off a little bit.
Sure,
Uh,
yeah.
but it comes in cycles, and another big thing with me that is maybe not the the MO of a lot of agents and brokerages out there. I've never tried to be the top producer or selling 100+ homes a year or anything near that. I'm much more of a quality over quantity guy. I don't like spreading myself too thin. I like a handful of buyers, a handful of sellers at once, and not really much more than that. I
Mhm.
think it's such a delicate and personable business that uh, I I owe that to the clients and give them the most attention that they can get and that they need, and that I can be available as much as I can, be as flexible to run out and show a house at the drop of a hat, especially in a tense environment where there's a lot of competition, etc. So yeah,
So
being
let
able
me
to,
let me ask you real quick, Joe, while you're on that, like what major trends are you seeing? What shifts are you seeing in real estate right now? Because you mentioned COVID, and I know that
yeah,
affected all of us. I mean,
it,
I'm in the
it did.
contracting business, and we get seasonal too, and I've got to work hard to stay in front of my clients. We do monthly newsletters, and we send
Mhm.
a lot of things to kind of stay in front of our past clients because even though they might love us, they only get their house painted every 5 to 10 years. So
Sure.
it's easy to be forgotten. So we kind of try to stay in front of them. But like, what
Yep.
trends are you seeing? What shifts are you seeing in the industry since COVID now that you're seeing?
Wow. It was such a wild time. A lot of folks just really scared about purchasing. A lot of first-time buyers, a lot of out-of-town buyers were
Okay,
starting to come in and were really nervous about, should we be buying a house in the middle of a pandemic? Uh,
right.
then, Richmond just is in kind of a isolated, protected bubble as far as our market goes, based on our just cost of living, uh,
Sure.
our
A
location,
lot of
and
people
easy
migrating
to
into
get
Richmond
to
still.
everywhere. Richmond is so desirable on so many levels. I'm a native Richmonder and a lifer. I don't see myself ever living anywhere else. Richmond's in a better spot than it's been in my 43 years almost.
Wow.
So it's an exciting place to live. I love the art scene, the music scene, the food, the culture, the outdoors, the
Mhm.
proximity to DC, to the beach, to the
Sure,
mountains.
sure. So
That's
how's
all
that?
huge.
How's everything since COVID been, since we've
I'm getting
like
there.
off COVID? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was so it was crazy. And then, 21, 22, we were seeing a seller's market like I'd never seen, and values going just crazy almost all over town, especially
Sure.
around the Fan
Yeah.
Museum District and,
Yep.
Monument Avenue Heights where
Sure.
you are. And just values going crazy, and seeing some offers. I mean, some houses getting 50, 60 offers and
Sure.
selling 400 grand above ask. And this is for, a $400,000 house. So the selling for
Yeah.
30, 40% more
It's
than
cooled
asking.
down since then though, hasn't it?
Oh, totally has. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
it got real hot for a while, and it really hadn't been until the past year or so. Interest rates have started to trend down because yeah, back in 2022, rates were sitting at around 3%, which was, kind of all-time lows in our lifetimes. And started ticking back up. But they've been on the decline now and are stabilizing a little bit more. And definitely the past year and a half have been seeing a lot more inventory and
Mhm.
things starting to shift a little bit more in the buyer's favor with
And
some.
how has that affected impacted your growth strategy as far as maintaining your client base and building that and continuing to, progress?
Yeah, it's been, I would say 2023 was probably the best year that I've ever had. And then 2024 was one of the worst years that I had.
Wow,
Uh,
what a
it was
contrast.
it
Yeah,
was a big drop off, and I was not alone. The past couple years for many agents, there's always going to be the top, rock stars that get all the business and all everything. And some of the it's one of the, I guess, the downsides of being in more of a boutique brokerage versus a national franchise with all of the connections and the technology. And
Joe,
they
there's
have
so many real estate agents. I mean, yeah, I
it,
mean, you've been around for a long time, and I've known a lot of realtors since I moved to Richmond in 2000. So I've been here 26
yep,
years, and
yep.
I mean, I don't know how you survive. I honestly, I'm going, wow, that's so competitive. I mean, it is so
It
competitive.
is.
So,
And on that note too, especially when things were so hot and like everything was just, especially if you were a listing agent, stuff was just selling like crazy for insane amounts over
sure.
asking. And then yeah, new agents were just flocking into the market
Mhm.
and was really getting oversaturated
Yeah.
for that stretch. That's starting to
You need a
definitely
strong
trickle down
survive.
now. It's yeah, and it,
So
it it helps to have
what's
a.
working,
Go ahead.
what's working well for you right now and what's been frustrating?
What's working well is really staying in touch with my client base, ramping up my social media, trying to do several posts and videos and reels per week, whether it be a listing or a buyer sale of ours, or just some helpful tips to investors, homeowners, sellers, buyers, and or just cool architectural stuff that is enticing. So yeah, having that, trying to keep that top of mind thing, because there still are, everybody seems to know a realtor within the family, or without too much distance.
So reaching out
Um,
to past clients that you've worked with, reaching out to past clients that you've worked with, just to kind of give them,
mhm.
like tidbits of information, just to kind of
Sure.
keep
That
people,
just reach out,
up to
wish
date.
them, wish, yeah, any chance that, makes sense to reach out without being, I'm not, I never want to be kind of a sleazy kind of a I don't consider myself a salesperson. I
No,
consider myself a guidance person or a facilitator rather. And yeah, just to touch base frequently, but not overbearing, and offer to give them a current valuation on the house that they bought 2 or 3 years ago per se, or maybe it's a good time for them to refinance if they bought within the past year or two,
sure.
things like that. And I think just really
Tips on
doing
how to
the
improve
right.
home value and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Things like that, and
Helpful
just
things
being
to keep in front of the for your clients, so they could appreciate their, like, see the value in your, in being, connected to you in some way.
definitely, and being a resource for them on all things home improvement with contractors and painters and electricians and plumbers, and just being the kind of one-stop shop if they need anything like that. That I can, be of service in that department as well for referring that kind of stuff out to folks. And yeah, just spending that quality time with the folks, and I think they really do sense that I care deeply about their entire experience, and that seems to ripple out to to their friends and families and colleagues, uh, and they get referred over my way, and I just got several new ones already this week, so it's a big start to 2026, which I'm extremely
Yeah.
grateful for, because usually
So
this few weeks of
2026.
January is usually pretty dead, but
So
I've got two
yeah,
new showings with a first time couple in the West End tomorrow.
good,
So
good.
it's great.
So what metrics are you, like, focused on right now on improving? What metrics would you say you're most focused on now?
Well, I definitely want to kind of get back to a little bit closer to, 2023
You plan on doing
area. I
that?
don't try to focus too much on volume. I mean, obviously, uh, you know, price points are nice. It's fun to sell $1 million house every now and then. Not gonna shy away from that, but
Sure.
definitely would like to, yeah, get back
If
to
there was a
a
volume
couple.
number, if there was like a volume number that you're shooting for, like Joe's sweet spot, for his boutique realty, what would that be?
Well, I mean, I would say in reality, I think about my average sale point nowadays is probably in the 400 to 500,000 range.
Right.
A couple below that, but that's pretty standard now. A lot of
Sure.
the folks I'm working with currently are in that price range. And yeah, just trying to do, a few transactions a month is plenty
So
for
two or
me.
three houses a month is good for you? Is that like your
Absolutely.
sweet
Yeah,
spot?
it is. And that I
Keeps you
don't feel
moving.
stretched too thin. I'm not missing any critical details. I can manage all of that while giving everybody the time that they deserve and
Right.
need, and the attention
So
on all
and
that.
that,
But that's kind of a healthy place for me, because I think work-life balance is important too, and I don't want to
sure,
get burned out on this. I want to do this my whole life, which is another reason I got into it, because I could be doing this in my 80s
sure.
if I need to some capacity. So.
So what if you could be, like, in an ideal world, where would you want to be in the next 6 or 12 months from now?
Oof. Oh boy.
Given 2026, we're January 8th or January 7th right now. We're starting
Yeah.
fresh on 2026. Where would you want to be in June, or say like in no by November or December or
I mean, by
next
the end of
year?
the year, I would be thrilled if I had 20 transactions under my belt, and all of them, or at least almost all, as many as possible, to be extremely gratifying and satisfying for all
Sure.
parties involved, and so they feel that they had the best experience working with me through all the hurdles and the unexpected
Yeah,
things that can come out of left field, out of nowhere, and just our ability to navigate those. And yeah, just getting those 5-star reviews that are the most important thing to me beyond the commissions, because
okay,
if you do right by the clients and
sure.
they feel good about it, the everything takes care of itself. So
So I've
that's
got to
my
wrap things up here in just
okay.
a few minutes, Joe, but I wanted to
Sure.
ask you one more question. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, if you could solve one major challenge today, what would that be?
Wow, major challenge today
Like
is
what?
for
Yeah,
me personally or within the business.
within the business,
Okay, that's
whether
good.
it be like dealing with the minutia of back and forth and qualifying new buyers or new people in the market that you haven't met. How do you qualify them? What challenges
Sure.
would you like to solve the most?
That's a good one that and wow, that's funny that you mentioned that. I just got a text message from a new agent that I just brought on this past year. So I think my uh biggest thing is just to focus on some of the newer agents and one of the seasoned agents that I've got on the team and
On
just
your team,
yeah, on my team under the Timberlake Realty
how
umbrella.
many people do you have under your team?
I've got 3 other agents and a marketing coordinator. I have not gotten to the point that I've wanted to outsource a transaction coordinator yet. I still like
What does
doing
a
some of
transaction coordinator do?
they would do basically a lot of the minutia, a lot of the paperwork, and just the processing from all the steps, making sure that the transaction goes smoothly from contract ratification through the inspection, the appraisal getting ordered,
Yeah.
just all the stuff. But I'm
That
not a
doesn't sound like anything
control
that could
freak, but
definitely be automated. That sounds like there's got to be a lot of back and forth in that.
yeah, yeah, and but I still like being as involved as I can at every step. Maybe I have some trust issues, but I just like being involved and really in the weeds and in the process
Okay.
with the clients and can keep them informed of every step that we're taking, and they're never in the dark about where this is or where that is or what's coming next or how to deal with that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that and just growing the team and getting them to the point that I can trust them more if I'm unavailable or out of town or something that I can, really count on really educating and advising these newer agents to yeah, to kind of pick up my
Okay. Well,
my
that's pretty
zest
interesting. Can you expand on how you would want to grow the team? Can you
on
expand on
how.
that? Yeah, what you see in a perfect world on how you could grow the team to where you could, like you mentioned trust. I too have that, I have to delegate and
Yep.
sometimes, letting go is hard for me. So,
Mhm.
how do you, see yourself expanding the team or growing the team and delegating and allowing people to have a little bit more autonomy, I guess.
Slowly, slowly. It's definitely been a little bit slower than I guess would imagine, but it's all organic and in the right time.
Sure.
And it's yeah, it's just something that it can't quite be forced and needs to be in alignment with their availability, their ambition. Some of them have
Yeah.
other
Sure.
jobs, full-time jobs, and it's a part-time thing for
Yeah.
them.
Got to
So
work into it. Yeah.
just meeting them where they are and just trying to be a resource for them to learn and
Uh-huh.
grow as I have and just to yeah, share my knowledge and expertise with them so that
Well,
they can
Joe, I'm going to
live.
wrap it up, man. But I mean,
I could go all day, baby, but this has been fun.
I know, but I mean, this is great. I mean, a lot of good insights. I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm
My
gonna
pleasure, brother.
get some notes together and get a summary, and we'll touch base on this later. But I really appreciate you coming on, Joe. That
Cool.
really means a lot to me, and It's always good to see
Likewise,
you.
brother.
I see you regularly. So
Yeah,
anyways,
man.
thanks again. I appreciate it. And I'll see you
Thank you,
tomorrow,
sir.
hopefully.
Yeah, you'll see me real soon, my friend.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Much love, Justin. Thanks, brother. Talk to
See
you
you, man.
soon.
Bye.
All right.